Hey, it's Andrea from Doing Business as Yourself. And today I've been in conversation in it's in a projector group, but the question has come up how, specifically for projectors, but this would apply to generators as well in some respects, because it's about waiting for recognition, and in terms of, for projectors, and in terms of generators, waiting to respond to life. So if life isn't coming to you and you're chasing life, that is sort of a less productive way of living a generator life. However, projectors really have to wait for the recognition that somebody else gives them to have anything to interact with. So what do you do while you're waiting to possibly build up what I think of as a library of work that other people, when the timing is correct for them, so our timings are not always, on point with each other, but when the timing is right for them, they would be able to tap into, and you wouldn't have to then show up then, is kind of where I went with this person. So this gal has a right pointing environment variable and I have a left one. Right is observer in your environment, and left is observed in your environment. So the environment variable, we're talking about variables, which are those 4 arrows that are up next to your head and ajna centers on your human design chart. If you don't have a human design chart, I'll put a link below to abouthumandesign.com, and you can click through there and get yourself a chart. Meanwhile, of those 4 arrows, 2 are black on the right side of the chart, and 2 are left on the left. 2 on the left side of the chart are red, and it's the lower red one that's environment specific. So right would be observer, and left would be observed. So how does this play into creating a library of content, of work that people could maybe tap into and maybe not? Well, first of all, especially for projectors, it has to be without intention of or expectation of anybody ever tuning into it. So for instance, I'm making this video because I already recorded this this is something I just had an exchange with on the computer. I'm looking at my computer over there. And I can leverage what I've said or not. So if I leverage it, that means that the next time this comes up, I can just point somebody to this video link versus me repeating myself over and over again. And you would be surprised how much time and energy and effort can be totally saved by recording your thoughts and your responses and your, I'm not exposing this person, but this comes up. It's come up before, and it's time that I did a video about it. So I'm observed, and so what that means is everywhere I am in my environment, wherever I am, whether I'm in my correct environment or not, I have eyeballs on me. I have people watching what I'm doing. They're not necessarily responding to what I'm doing, but they're watching. I'm not without I'm witnessed all the time. It doesn't mean that I'm seen or recognized. It just means that it's obvious to people that I'm there. Observer is not so. Observer is, the way I've heard people describe their own experience to me is they can, we used an example in one of my classes. It was a variables class, and the people that I was with, it was 3 of us. The people that I was with were both observer, and I'm observed. And we used the example, we came to the realization, the example of going to an event, like a seminar or something. I can sit in the back of the room, and everybody at the break wants to know why I'm sitting in the back of the room. Well, I'm sitting in the back of the room because I don't really want to be seen necessarily or engaged. I want to be doing the seminar, not necessarily interacting, because I don't have a social design. My human design has not got a social bone in it. Not that I dislike people, it's just not the easiest thing is to interact with people. So I always sit in the back of the room, and people always know that I'm sitting back there. Why they would know it, because I'm behind them all, I have no idea, but they know. Versus these 2 gals who are like, oh, we can go to a seminar, we sit smack in the middle, Anywhere could sit anywhere, nobody ever even sees us. And I was like, how can that, this was, in the moment, I was like, this was this big light bulb about this observed observer thing. Now, one of the gals who was in that class with me, she is a podcast artist for years, like master podcaster, and her observations onto this podcast, now it wouldn't matter what medium it is, it could be any medium, it could be video, it could be written, which is a little bit less accessible to people, it could be a podcast, it could be people are looking at Instagram, it doesn't matter the platform, Pinterest, it doesn't, whatever the platform is the platform, any platform can work. The point is that her observations onto a podcast is what is how she makes her living, and now she teaches other people the same thing. Her observations of how it's worked for her, basically, is what she's gotten into a program. Mine is observed, so what I get to do is do myself, so people watch this, if they watch it, and again, I'm not making this so that somebody will watch it, I'm making it so that I don't have to repeat myself later, is the first and foremost, and so other people can have the benefit of me if I'm not available. So it's a 24/7 opportunity if I put my work or my thoughts or my my backstory to whatever it is I'm doing into a medium that other people can access. If it's in notebooks on my desk, it does nobody any good. It's just sitting there. I have notebooks and notebooks of things that I've never even revisited. So, certainly I'm not benefiting, and neither does anybody else have even the option or possibility to do that. So the observed part for me works in this way. What I've started doing lately, I have a group called Projectors in Business. I also have a group called, this is a very new group, Human Design for People in a Business that Helps People. In business that helps people. Human design in business that helps people. For people in business. I haven't got it straight yet. Anyway, you get the gist. I'll put the links to these things down below. No problem. The way that I have addressed this, like once I sort of realized, okay, well, what does it mean to be observed and to have the content? What content would I be providing? Well, one of the ways that I started doing videos has been my medium, videos and written stuff has been my medium, written mostly in email, not in like a public forum necessarily. What I realized is when I started doing videos, I did mostly screen capture, like over my shoulder, here's how I do things kind of videos, which is totally about being observed in my element. I could do, if I was a comedian, that would make sense, but also the same thing could apply to observer, because comedic skits are always very observational, personal observational. That's what makes them funny, is because it's somebody else's window that you're looking through. But what I started doing more recently is, for my inner circle type folks, is a segment, like I'll put like when I'm writing, I'll put like a caption kind of a thing, or a header, that is Andrea behind the scenes. So what I realized was that I do a lot of things that are in private that not everybody can see, and it's not because I don't want them to see. I don't have a fifth line profile that needs to be behind a curtain or feels like it needs to be behind a curtain. I don't have, I have a lot of trial and error, so it's like people seeing me doing the trial and error, or hearing about after the fact me doing the trial and error. That's them. That's me letting them observe me when they can't actually see it, if that makes any sense. Anyway, I think there's options for both. I don't think either one, they have their limitations because they have a different way that people can interact with them. But either one has the opportunity to create this library of work that can serve, if you do it, over time, it can become, a legacy work even. So, yeah, I feel very strongly about getting our material out of our heads, out of our notebooks, and onto recorded spaces that other people can access, because then we get eyeballs. If inevitably there are eyeballs. There's ways that you can partner with other people if you don't have, if for instance you're a quad right, which is no strategy, no planning, no, there's no strategicness to that person. My daughter is a quad right manifesting generator. You can partner with people who can insert that for you if you need to. There's things that can be done if you find that there's a groove that you want to, a particular cluster of a material that you want to sort of package into something. You can contact somebody to work with on that front. You can find people who recognize you along the way because of the work that you're doing that want to work with you on that front. But until they can, it's like a chicken and egg thing. Until people have a doorway in or a window in to see what the heck is going on, they don't have any way to, they're not just going to show up on your doorstep. I mean, I'm sure there are the random stories of people having that experience, but if you really look at it, it's not without some kind of human interaction first. So this is the stand-in for human interaction, where people can become, can quickly, very quickly, come to a place where they feel like they know, like, and trust you. And that's what sales and new clients and workshops and programs and products are sold with, thanks to this kind of ability to interact with people, which isn't exactly interaction, but you get my drift, right? So leave a comment below if you're here. Again, if nobody ever sees this, it doesn't hurt my feelings. But if somebody does, and it has one little nugget of something in it, why wouldn't I have done this so that that can happen? That's kind of where I am with my thinking, and I need to do more. So I hope something in here has grabbed you, and now I don't have to talk about observed or observer anymore ever again. I can just point people to this video. How cool is that? Okay, have a great day, and let me know what's up.